Happy birthday! Happy birthday to me 3 days ago. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, episode 559, The Search for More Money. People who know who will know. Our water bill, I guess. Anyway, hello. It is, as I said, June 23rd, correct? Yep. June 23rd, Sunday night. Yesterday, my daughter came back from her first week of camp, and we had to, but we wanted to celebrate my birthday, so we had to, get dinner. Not had to, but wanted to get dinner and then open presents, and then they had to get ready for summer camp because they were going back up this week, or today, or rather, I should say. I drove my daughter up because it's the first official week of camp starts this week, and as always, my wife and son's scout troops are the first ones to go for the first week of camp. So I am presently home alone, except for my kitty cat. Pepper himself had quite a weekend. He had an operation on Friday to be neutered, and he seems to be back to normal now. A little bit more tired than usual, but understandable, all the stuff he's gone through over the last 3 days or so, 2 to 3 days. But it was successful. He's healthy. He's eating. He's drinking. He's sleeping. He's playing. He's still a big pain in the butt, but he's still our boy. And now he cannot have children. That's good for us. It was my birthday. My actual birthday itself was interesting. It was a Thursday morning coming into work. I was driving past a business park and happened to notice a mama duck and a bunch of her ducklings walking in single file row down the parking lot, which I'd never seen before in person. I wish I could have stopped to take pictures, but it was a busy road. I was going about 30 miles an hour and people were behind me, so I really couldn't stop. I didn't want to scare them either because they were just going in perfect formation. It was great. And then got to work, discovered that when the guy came to clean up the vending machine, he added Mountain Dew Voltage, which is the best Mountain Dew. Livewire is a close second, which is the one I have right now. But added Mountain Dew Voltage to the vending machine. And then at about 1 o'clock, I was told that my pizza was here. I wasn't expecting a pizza. And pizza delivery guy came and said, this pizza is from Dawn, and she has a message. She says, happy birthday, honey. This was a man saying this to me and giving me the pizza. It was fine. So my wife and son, who had sent me a text the day before asking me a random question when my lunch is. So they ordered me a pizza to be delivered at 1 o'clock on my birthday. My wife didn't want him to say the message, but he ended up doing it anyway, but it was funny. It was good pizza. It was like bacon and pepperoni. Pretty tasty. And then once I got home, they had to go to Scouts, Noah and my wife. So that was fine. I just started chilling at home. And then Scouts went late. They didn't get home until 9:45, which is later than usual. And then I wanted to kind of open presents, but my wife hadn't wrapped them yet because she had just finished her asinine schedule she just dealt with for the last 2 months. So she was a little bit behind. Says, okay, I'd like to open them, but I may as well wait till Saturday since we're going to have dinner with my daughter, going out to dinner for that. So I figured I can wait for that then too. And then on my actual birthday, and on Saturday, I should say yesterday, we wanted to go to Reddick's seafood restaurant up here in Reisterstown. I called them up early on Saturday, about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, said, hey, I'd like a reservation for 4. Oh, we're not taking any more reservations today. I was like, oh. I said, we'd like to leave some tables open for walk-ups. And we just got a bunch early in the day. That's the thing that pissed me off about what's going to happen. They said early in the day. So I said, they asked what time was it to show up? About 6:30. It's like, you should be fine. So I'll get my wife and my family. We go over there at 6:30 45 to 50-minute wait to get in. And I said to them, but I tried to make a reservation. You said you weren't making any more reservations. And you said you reached a certain point, but the majority of them were earlier in the day. Why couldn't we have made a reservation for tonight? They really didn't have an answer for me. So that pissed me off. I didn't feel like waiting 45, 50 minutes because my wife and daughter and son had still pack up and get ready for summer camp. And I still want to open my presents, stuff like that. So I was kind of pissed about that. So ended up going to Red Robin, which sat us in the bar, which was fine. It was nice. We had a really cool waiter, was great, and we got our food and pretty quickly, and it was an okay dinner. And then my daughter, who was tired and stuff like that, and she barely ate anything, and I was like, okay. I felt a little off about that because I know she wanted to go to the seafood place, but no, we just couldn't. But she just wasn't eating stuff. But she was hell bent upon watching Fallout. Even though she claimed she was tired, but she didn't eat. So that kind of peeved me off a little bit. I don't know why, it just did. And then I said, we got home. I was like, hey, can we open presents like about 8 o'clock, I guess? And my wife said, fine. And we didn't open until like 8:30 because she hadn't wrapped them yet. Got some, as I expected, got a lot of 4K Blu-rays and some books. That's really all that I wanted. She bought exactly stuff that I wanted from my Amazon wish list. I think she finally come to the idea that that's the stuff that I want. So I was very happy with what I got. Got some money from my family. I wanted to get my TV, but I'm starting to think about more and more. It's like, it's probably not worth it, particularly with this freaking heat wave we're in the middle of right now. First day of summer hit on my birthday, 4:51 p.m. And it's been a heat dome here in the Baltimore area. We've broken 2 records. It hit 98 degrees both days, Sunday, and Saturday. Actually, closer to 100, actually, I think, downtown. So it's been brutally hot, and we have had the air conditioner on, but because the way the house is built, the heat is trapped upstairs because heat rises. So downstairs is pleasant. You go upstairs, and it's a miserable heat bath. So that was miserable, and just end up, she wanted to watch Fallout, but we ended up not watching Fallout because they were too busy getting stuff ready for camp and packing up and doing stuff. And then she wanted to talk to her boyfriend for a few hours because she hadn't seen, which is fine also. So it was kind of a bleh weekend for me. And then I went and drove her to camp, and then came back here, and I was all by myself, and I was like, I'm going to do all this stuff. But I had to do research for today's show. And then I watched one movie, and then I played some Fortnite, and then I had to get dinner, and then I had to do the show. I was going to watch another movie, Batman, the 1989 version, because today's the 35th anniversary. We'll talk about that in a second. But that did happen. So here we are at 9:28 p.m. on a Sunday, 8 minutes into the show. It's going to go about an hour longer from now. So just want to tell you what's been going on here. But everything's fine. I am home alone. This weekend is going to be really weird, though, coming up because my cousin Liz's wedding, rather. It's an evening wedding. And then Sunday, the 30th, we're going to have our 4th of July party at my aunt and uncle's house like we usually have because everybody's in town and they figure, why, we just did a wedding and a week later, why do we need a 4th of July party? Why don't we just do it all on the same weekend? So we're going to have our 4th of July party on the 30th of June next Sunday. So I have no idea when I'm going to do my show next week. I might take the week off. I don't want to, but the timing is going to be tough because Thursday, I'm going to the Oriole game. Which is going to be fun with my family. Not my immediate family, my dad's side of the family, which is where the wedding, stuff like that. They're all going to be in town. Going to see that on Thursday. Friday, I got to drive up to Broad Creek where my family is. They're doing their parents' dinner for the end of camp and then bonfire. I usually don't like to stay for the bonfire because I want to get home. But I have to stay for the bonfire because I was originally going to take my daughter and son home on Friday night so that my daughter, who has a quick turnaround and has a wedding to go to, can get her clothes washed and rested, take a shower and stuff like that. But now, because she was just promoted to a director, she's got to stay up for Saturday. She's going to go come back home with my mom, not my mom, with her mom, my wife, who had to stay up there because she's got other members of her scout troop up there. She's got to be sure that everybody gets things taken care of and closed down for camp on Saturday. So I'll have to go up there for their dinner, and then I got to stay for the bonfire, and then I got to take all their stuff, and we got to drive home, and then I got to get and then it's just be my son and I come home Friday. I got to throw my daughter's stuff into the laundry as soon as we get home on Friday. Then Saturday, my wife and daughter have to stay up there till like noon or whatever. Probably before that, I think they'll leave around 10 o'clock-ish. Come back down. Then they've got a little time to get ready, and then we got to go down to the city for my cousin's wedding, which is at like 5:30 downtown. Oriole game is going on, so it's going to be crazy busy. We're going to have to go to Fells Point, so I got to figure all that out. I got to get a suit because my suit doesn't fit me anymore, and you have to wear a suit for an evening wedding. And my son is going to probably wear my suit. We haven't tried it on. We're going to try it on Saturday. Didn't work out. So this week, I wanted to take the whole week off like I usually do. But because of my stupid kidney stones, I don't have enough vacation time, so I have to go into work Monday and Tuesday. But I am taking Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off, so I'll be able to get a lot of stuff done. But I'm going to have to get my new suit. I'm going to have to just get myself prepped and organized. I go to the grocery store tomorrow, get my food and stuff. I got to do the dishes. So just not exactly what I was expecting. But so I don't even know when I'm going to be able to do my show. Hopefully it'll be soon. So I talked about that. Fuck summer. I talked about that. Record highs. I already talked about that. Fortnite had a major update on Friday or Saturday. It might have been Saturday. And this is like their big update because they could take like a 3-week summer vacation. So they had to upload all the summer event stuff and any new things come up, and they came up with a new idea for Fortnite Reload, which is a squad game mod where you go back to a smaller version of the OG island and use OG weapons, and you're in squads of 4, and then every time someone dies, if members of your squad are still around, you can be rebooted automatically until you reach the end game, and then the end game they stop reboot. So if you get killed, you're done for sure. You will not come back. So it's kind of a neat mod. I wasn't too excited about because I hate all this whining the OGs do about Chapter 1. It's not even that big of a deal. Last year's Chapter 1 was the boringest season I've ever had. It was so boring. But I actually found myself enjoying the mode, so I played a little bit more. So that's kind of fun. But then we also got excited because we thought that the Captain Jack Sparrow and Pirates of the Caribbean collaboration was going to come this weekend, or at least made for the summer event. That's not going to happen. But Netflix, not Netflix, Fortnite screwed up and released the skin to people in the shop for like an hour or so. If they realized they took it off, but people who bought it were able to just get the skin, but can't do anything with the rest of the mini battle pass. They're doing that till it gets live again, but they're allowing them to keep their skin. So now you see some people flexing on you by having a Captain Jack Sparrow skin, and it's a great collaboration. You're going to have at least 4 emotes. You're going to have at least 4 new skins. You got some cool stuff. You get the Jar of Dirt emote. You get the Jack Sparrow run. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So it looks like we're going to have a good, but now it's not supposed to be out till July 19th, which kind of sucks. It's going to take about another month to get to us because I want it now. And then the summer event looks like shit, calling it Sweaty Summer. And just, you got to do a bunch of hardcore stuff, and doesn't look like the event stuff is going to be all that great. The last few summer events have been sucky, so I've been kind of pissed about that as well. Pissed about this heat, pissed about having to go to work the next 2 days, pissed about just everything. So pissed about my birthday kind of being sucky. It's just a lot of different things, so we'll survive. Some cool stuff, though. Spaceballs 2, I announced last week, was potential that we thought Josh Gad was going to be doing something with Spaceballs 2. It was officially announced this week that Amazon MGM will be doing a Spaceballs 2 with Josh Gad starring in it and Josh Greenbaum directing it for Amazon Prime. Don't know when that's due out. It just was announced. So they got to do the casting. They got to film it and all. So it would be probably sometime. Probably next year. I doubt they'll push it to 2026. They'll probably release it sometime next year if they get it started sooner or later. If they don't get it started till later, then it might not be till 2026. So we'll see. But that's good. That's cool, though, for that right now. So I got to connect these two. So good for them. A couple new trailers for Axel Foley, Beverly Hills Cop 4. Not really trailers, they're sort of behind the scenes short, like ads for them for Netflix, get some new stuff. And it looks like it's going to be sort of a combination of some of the movies that you've seen, some of the jokes you've seen before, but some new stuff as well. It looks like it's actually be pretty good. That's due out July 3rd, so we don't really have that long to wait on that. So that's pretty cool. We don't have that long to go for that, so that'll be cool to see that on that end. So those are pretty good. Speaking of, well, that's going to be on Amazon also. Where's on Netflix? I think it might be Netflix. It's probably on Amazon because all the other movies he's been doing have been on Amazon, with the exception of a few have been on. No, I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's either on Netflix or Amazon. I think it's Netflix, to be honest. But don't quote me on that. It's going to be on one of those. It's either going to be Amazon or Prime. I'm not exactly sure. I'm just seeing if I can see it. Nope, I don't. All right, so that's good. Now, I'm going to shout out to the haters again, who are a bunch of stupid morons. As I've been saying before, they're all saying, the MCU is dead, and then Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be the hottest movie of the summer, has close to have a $200 million opening probably. But there's another movie that the haters have been hating on that is actually also over exceeding their what they're supposed to do. Inside Out 2. And I was telling people, don't fall asleep on this. You can remember, if you go back to my summer movie preview I did back in May, I said, don't fall asleep on Inside Out 2. And I was correct, because it is Inside Out 2. Inside Out is one of the most beloved Pixar movies out there. But for all I've been hearing the last few years, Pixar's dead. Disney sucks ass. They can't do anything original. And yes, it is a sequel, but it is they still do good stuff even for their sequels. Inside Out 2 made $155 million in its opening weekend, which is the biggest opening of the year, even bigger than Trash Dune 2 and other movies as well. But then everybody's like, what's going to happen now? It's probably going to drop 90% and be a disaster. Nope. It dropped maybe 30%. It made $100 million this weekend, its second weekend. So $255 million over 2 weekends is actually pretty damn good, and is similar to what Barbie did when it came out last year. It had a big, huge opening, and the dropped for the previous weeks was minimal. So we're looking at, next weekend, there's really nothing out there. The Quiet Place prequel, which probably isn't going to do a great, it'll do some probably, because I think some people are going to like it, but I don't think it's going to do spectacular. So I think Inside Out is going to drop some more, but it might only drop to like 70, 80 million. So you're probably going to keep seeing. So this is a big freaking movie, and haters can suck it because it's actually doing very well and exceeding potential and is saving the box office. Disney is saving the box office. And now the haters say the MCU is dead are going to be speaking out of their ass when Deadpool opens within about a month from now. And it's going to be $200 million plus. So that's going to be another big one. So the two biggest movies of the year are in genres that the haters are saying were dead. You can just shut the fuck up, you fucking losers. I'm so sick of everything with you fucking assholes. Netflix is doing other stuff besides their movies and stuff like that. They have announced Netflix popcorn to cost $4.49. They'll be selling Netflix popcorn, I think, at Walmart, but for $4.49. And they also announced Netflix is going to open a massive entertainment facility in 2 cities in 2025, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and Dallas, Texas. They're going to have, shops, entertainment, restaurants, stuff like that. And they're going to have experiences based on their shows and movies, like the Bridgerton experience and the Squid Game experience, stuff like that. So it should be a massive entertainment complex due out in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, which has a pretty goddamn big mall already. And they're turning it into a big area in Pennsylvania, and Dallas, Texas. So those are the 2 areas where Netflix is going to be signing up for their entertainment stuff. So if you live near any of those spots, King of Prussia is not that far from here. So if I really want to, I could probably go to the one in King of Prussia next year if it opens. Honestly, it really hasn't enticed me enough. But as I said, they just announced it, so they're going to have to start working on it soon. And we'll probably start seeing updates and stuff like that on it. So we'll see what they say they're going to do and see how good. And then if it's enough to entice me to make the 2-hour some trip to King of Prussia, we shall see. McDonald's is teaming up with Studio Ghibli to do a Kiki's Delivery Service promotion, which is interesting. I don't know why they just picked that one. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but it's also an older movie, and I don't know why they just picked that one with McDonald's. So, don't know. Maybe it's going to be a new type of bread because bread making was big in Kiki's Delivery Service, so who knows. Alex Trebek to get a forever stamp. He passed away a few years ago, and couldn't happen to a better person to get a forever stamp. A24 to team up with Jennifer Lawrence, who will be starring in and producing a movie called The Wives, which is a murder mystery movie that has connections to the Real Housewives series. So we'll see how that's going to work. Robert Zemeckis is re-teaming with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, his leads for Forrest Gump, in a movie called Here, due to come out this year, actually, November 15th, in movie theaters. It is... Zemeckis has been really into kind of remakes, stuff like that, but The Walk was interesting. It was like one of the last times he made like kind of a original-ish kind of movie, but was based on something else. Well, he's doing it based on a graphic novel, and it's following a generational sort of story. So it's going to follow a family through multiple generations. Paul Bettany is also in the cast as well. So we're going to see that November 15th. So I probably will do some sort of fall movie preview, so I'll talk more about that once I know more about that. But having Zemeckis and Hanks teaming up again, the last one was the live action Pinocchio, which everyone says sucks, but I haven't watched it yet. His live action remake of The Witches with Anne Hathaway and Stanley Tucci was outstanding. And The Walk is a pretty good movie. So he's had some hits and he's had some misses, yeah. But we'll see what happens. But it's called Here, and it is based on a graphic novel, and it is reteaming Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, which is really an interesting take as well. The Penguin trailer got a second trailer out this week. I didn't really pay much attention because I really don't care, and it's on Max, so good on you. And Taika Waititi is set to adapt James into a film, a book from the perspective of Jim and Huckleberry Finn. So it could be interesting to see Taika Waititi doing Huckleberry Finn via the viewpoint of Jim. So that could be kind of interesting to see how that goes. So that'll be rolling up here soon. So that could be a good way to get him back into people's good graces. That could very well, it's based on a novel, so it's not really a creation of his. And people still hating on him as well for Thor 4, which really isn't as bad as everybody says it was. So this could be actually pretty interesting to see what happens. Could be some Oscar-worthy stuff coming in 2025, probably. So we'll see what happens. Anniversaries. Before we get to the major deaths that hit us this week. And there were some major ones. I was talking about Robert Zemeckis. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? One of Robert Zemeckis' greatest movies of all time. Debuted 36 years ago this week. The Blues Brothers, another one of the greatest movies of all time, debuted 44 years ago this week on my birthday. So June 20th, 1980, The Blues Brothers debuted in movie theaters. Another one of the greatest movies of all time, Jaws, debuted 49 years ago this week. 50th anniversary is next year on June 20th, 1975. So my birthday again, Jaws and The Blues Brothers were both released. And then one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, the Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, Jack Nicholson, Batman, came out 35 years ago today. I got the Blu-ray of that because I didn't get it for my birthday, so I ordered it as soon as I didn't get it for my birthday. It came today. I was going to watch that tonight, but because I have to do the show, I decided, no, and I got to get up early because I got to freaking work. If I didn't have to go to work, I would have probably stayed up and watched Batman after I did the show. So, oh well. But those are the anniversaries here. 2 major deaths hit us this week. First up, Willie Mays, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, in the top 5, in the top 10. One of the greatest baseball players of all time, passed away at the age of 93. He has that iconic behind the bat catch at Ebbets Field, which is fairly famous. And I love how someone turned it kind of into a meme where he says, "Welcome Willie Mays to the Field of Dreams," and had him doing that catch with the cornfield around him. I thought that was really clever. I liked that. I thought that was good. But Willie Mays passed away this week at the age of 93. Another huge hit, Donald Sutherland, actor extraordinaire and father of Kiefer Sutherland, passed away this week, actually on my birthday, June 20th. I don't remember what his age was, but that one hurt also. That and Willlie both hurt this week. So Donald Sutherland was one of those actors who you've probably seen him in any movie out there. You've probably seen a movie with him in it. Good examples before I lead you a list of all stuff he's done. JFK, where he's only on screen for about 10 minutes and has one of the greatest monologues of all time, and he sells it so well. The dent, dent, dent sequence, which is so great. Animal House, he was the bad guy, President Snow, in the Hunger Games series. Animal House, I said he was in that as well. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original movie. He was the Watcher for her. So let's take a look. Oh, Outbreak is another one he was in. So some of his highlights of movies that you see, he was in The Dirty Dozen. He was in the original MASH. He was in Kelly's Heroes. He was in Clute. He was Clute, I should say. He was in Day of the Locusts, playing Homer Simpson. Yes, that's the character he played in Day of the Locusts. Was in the Kentucky Fried Movie. He was the clumsy waiter during That's Armageddon, which was outstanding. Animal House, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is where the meme comes from. You see him going, ah! And there's that one. I'll recognize it when it comes through. Ordinary People, he was in. Eye of the Needle, Max Dugan Returns, Heaven Help Us. There was one. There was one movie that he starred with an actress and is known to have a sex scene together. They actually had sex during the scene. I mean, actual penetration. That's a classic. See, Heaven Help Us. JFK. Yep. Backdraft. He was in that as well. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Disclosure. That's right. He was in Disclosure. He was in Outbreak. Time to Kill. He was in that also. Fallen. That's right. He was in Fallen also. I forgot about that. Virus Instinct, Panic, Space Cowboys, The Italian Job, Cold Mountain, Fierce People, Pride and Prejudice, A Lord of War, An American Haunting, Beer Fest, Astro Boy, The Con Artist, Horrible Bosses, the Hunger Games series, as I said. He was in all of them. Ad Astra, he was in that as well. Forgot he was in that. Moonfall, Mr. Harrigan's Phone. So, yeah, he had that's a lot of the stuff he did. Any TV, major TV that he did. Yeah, he was a voice in The Simpsons, even playing a character by the name of Homer Simpson. He was in the Salem's Lot 2004 adaptation. He's in 23 episodes of Dirty Sexy Money, which I guess was a HBO thing. 8 episodes of Ice, 10 episodes of Trust, 6 episodes of Swim with Sharks. So he did a lot of stuff. But yeah, he's known. One of his things that he's known as is he had. I wish I could find that. He had sex with an actress. Actually, they had physical intercourse during the movie. I don't know if they're going to mention it on here. Let's see if there's anything. I don't think so. But it was a crazy story that came out that there's a sex scene he does with a famous actress of the time, and they were actually having physical intercourse, which is really cool. All right, so those were the two big ones. And then Comic World lost Peter B. Gillis this week. He was the writer of Strikeforce Mortuary, did some Doctor Strange as well. The Strikeforce Mortuary is his big one. And then Sarah Becker was also a comic book executive. She passed away this week as well. All right, we're half hour in, and we're only on full page 1 of 4. So we got a lot to blow through here. Mel Brooks' son Max, his first book, World War Z, has gone back for a record 63rd printing. So that's pretty cool. Peacock is debuting a limited series about John Wayne Gacy starring Michael Chernos. You got to go with true crime people going like that. The Monkey, based on the Stephen King short story with Tatiana Maslany and Elijah Wood, is set to debut on February 21st, 2025, I should say, February 21st, 2025. The director of which is doing the Long Legs horror film coming out soon with Nicolas Cage as a serial killer, which is getting a lot of buzz already. Okay. Guy turns old tires into cozy beds for stray dogs and cats in Brazil. He's made 6,000 so far, which is kind of sad that there's that many homeless pets, but the fact that he's helping them is kind of cool. Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan are set to replace Anne Hathaway and Jake Gyllenhaal in Beef Season 2. We've been interesting to see those two back together again, but they've decided that they're moving on from that, and now Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan are next up to bat here. Mia Goth is still set to be in the Blade movie, despite all the changing and all the guard stuff like that. I think they want to keep her in there, so they'll create a character for her if they need to. Might not be the same one she was set to play, but she is set to be in there as well. Sam Neill is set to join Eric Banya in Netflix's mystery thriller Untamed. So that's good about that. Kite Man, hell yeah! The spinoff of the Harley Quinn animated series is set to debut on Max July 18th. Megan, the horror film about the sort of realistic female doll, is having a spinoff called Soulmate, which is supposed to be an erotic thriller. Interesting. Family Pack is a new Netflix film based on the board game The Werewolves of Miller's Hollow. Set debut right around Halloween on October 23rd. So that could be interesting to take a look at. It's always good to be thinking about Halloween, particularly right in the beginning of summer when it's hot and humid. Reese's Pieces is set to debut a chocolate cookie flavor and caramel flavors, which is interesting because Reese's Pieces are just M&Ms, but with Reese's chocolate and peanut butter in that. But I guess since M&Ms are making so many different flavors, why not Reese's Pieces? So why not? NASA spots the first of its kind ever light color boulder on Mars, which is supposed to help detail more about the creation of Mars, I guess. Deadpool Wolverine is set to take the movie world by storm in about a month. And of course, Marvel Comics division has decided now's the perfect time to kill off Deadpool in the comics. Of course, as we also know, it's not going to last, and it's probably just a stunt to piggyback on the popularity of the movie. It's coming out. Patrick Dempsey is set to join the Dexter prequel. Twisted Metal Season 2 as Anthony Kerrigan as Calypso. So if you played the game, you know that's a pretty big deal. Snowpiercer Season 4 trailer, which is the final season of the show, is set to debut on AMC on July 21st. These AMC, I know one company was running Snowpiercer, but then they didn't want to do a fourth season, but it ended kind of on a cliffhanger, so people wanted closure. So I think it was AMC bought it, and they're going to do it so somehow. And the trailer looks pretty interesting, at least. Piranu, an animated film based on the book Piranu, is coming from Cabo and the Two Strings director. Jonathan Majors, who had some major issues and got replaced as Kang, has already set up his new movie role and is also getting an award. So he's bouncing back here a little bit. The Batman Cape Crusader, a new animated series from Amazon, is set to debut August 1st. And we got to look at some of the voice cast. There's a lot more to it, but these are the famous names. McKenna Grace, John DiMaggio, Minnie Driver, Diedrich Bader, Christina Ricci, and Hamish Linklater are set to be the voices of various characters on there. Hamish Linklater is Batman. Christina Ricci is Catwoman. Diedrich Bader is Two-Face. The other's no idea. A dwarf was given crayons and a coloring book when he was having a romantic dinner with his fiancée at a restaurant. They thought he was a child and gave him coloring books and crayons, which I think is very racist because dwarfism is a race kind of thing, and I think it's kind of rude, and I hope that restaurant gets his ass kicked. I may as well say this now. Chinatown is 50 years old this week as well. And Robert Towne, who wrote it, is writing a prequel TV series. He says all the chapters are done, but there's no production schedule yet. So they're trying to find somebody to make the Chinatown prequel. J.J. Reddick of I Hate J.J. Reddick, a former Duke player who's gone on to coach lately and played in the NBA for a while and then left and then has been coaching lately, has been hired as the new head coach for the Lakers, who seem to have a new head coach every 2 years, it seems like, because LeBron doesn't like them when they don't win. Brandy stars in the A24 movie The Front Room, set to debut on September 6th. First trailer for that came out. It's good to see Brandy getting back into the movie biz, and with A24 is a good thing. It's something along the lines of that Brandy goes to the funeral of her father, and she has to deal with her estranged mother, who doesn't like her very much, but the estranged mother now has to live with her, so she's got to deal with that sort of thing. So it's going to be one of those A24 dramas that could be big come end of the year. Local news, the invasive species, the snakehead fish, those are the ones that can walk on land a little bit that were not supposed to be in our area, but someone dropped them in there and they've spread have now become a species in our area. They've decided to change the name from snakehead to the Chesapeake channa so that it has a better connotation than snakehead. I guess that makes sense, I guess. And I wish I would have thought of this idea, but I didn't, and it's kind of fun. Slash Squatch is an axe-wielding Bigfoot set to star in one of these B movies coming up soon. Slash Squatch. God, I wish Sci-Fi still showed bad movies because that would be another good one. Anniversaries. The Karate Kid, 40 years old this week. And Cobra Kai. According to Ralph Macchio, he is done filming on Cobra Kai, so he's no longer doing that because his Cobra Kai is ending, so he's done his last bits, reprising the role he had in The Karate Kid in that show. Minority Report debuted 22 years ago this week on June 21st. There's Chinatown 50 years. Yep, I talked about that and the prequel. The Hulk, the Ang Lee Hulk, debuted 21 years ago this week with Eric Banya. Actually, I talked about him earlier, too. It's all connected. Karate Kid Part 2, which is, to me, the better Karate Kid movie. You can come fight me on that, but I think Karate Kid Part 2 is loads better than the original one. Debuted 38 years ago this week. Taylor, Willlie. I don't know. Taylor Willey died at the age of 56. Don't know who he is. Wish I could read my handwriting, but I can't. And Hiroyuki Omori, executive producer of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, also died this week as well. Hey, I've come to the first section of my book, which is The Division. So now we're on the second part of my book of 5 sections. So moving right along here. We're going to save that one for last. Believe it or not, Baltimore is number 57 in the Happy City Index from the company Quality of Life that did a check of the top 100 happiest cities. Baltimore is number 57. Baltimore is a wonderful city, despite what everybody says. It does have its issues, but it is a really wonderful, unique city, and more people should do it. Back in 2020, as part of the whole bizarre 2020 stuff that was going on with COVID and the killer bees or killer wasps and all this other bullshit that was going on, snow in May, it was like the weirdest year on record. During that time, to continue adding to the weirdness of 2020, if you all remember, 4 years ago, a number of solid black monoliths just appeared in weird, desolate areas out in the Midwest, and then out west as well, and then in other countries as well. It was, one was done, and then copycats all over the place, and people were talking about they don't know what they are. One believes it was an art installation. Artists decided to do that. Another said it was aliens because they came by the area not like a day earlier and didn't see it, and then it came back the next day and it was there. And these monoliths are huge and heavy, and they don't know, and no one saw anyone come in to put them in or whatever. Nobody knows what they are, blah, blah, blah. It was a bizarre thing, and then it just disappeared as quickly as they appeared. It was a weird little thing that just added flavor to 2020, and I just know within the next 5 or 6 years, there will be a book that's going to talk about everything that happened in 2020, about how fucking bizarre that world year was. Well, 2024 is following similar paths here. We've had weird invasive spiders now that can fly, kind of like with the wasps. No snow in May in our area, but massive heat in early June. That's climate change. But guess what? Also, the mysterious monoliths have returned. The first one has returned back in the desert in the same spot it appeared 4 years ago. So Okay, I don't know what that is. Now all we need to do is to have the people dressed up as clowns to start popping up again here to make things even more exciting. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, so Mysterious Monoliths are back. So within the next couple weeks, you'll probably start seeing other copycats roll out through. Show that I did a extra work for twice, Homicide: Life on the Street, filmed here in Baltimore, has for the longest time not appeared on any streaming services. And the main reason why is, much like with Northern Exposure, there were issues with the music that was used during it. They either did not get the rights to it or had to figure out, what kind of money that the musicians would get for using their songs in the show, and then having it streamed and having the song shows up there again. That's what kept Northern Exposure off of streaming until earlier this year. Well, Homicide has dealt with their music issues, and it has opened the door for them to finally get onto a streaming service 25 years after the show ended. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and once we find out where it's going, we'll let you know. Speaking of which, also, this isn't as long, and it didn't have such deals, but Lost is coming to Netflix on July 1st, so not that long from now, next week. So yeah, Homicide is going to be on a streaming service here soon. Don't know which one, but we'll find out here soon. Probably Peacock, to be honest, because it's NBC. That would suck, though, because I don't have Peacock. Speaking of another movie, a show I was connected to, Lady in the Lake was the movie that, or the limited series that I was asked to audition for, and I sent an audition tape for, and didn't get picked. I did a whole episode about it about 2 years ago. So go back into my playlist, and you'll be able to find it. Well, Lady in the Lake is finally going to make its debut on July 19th on Apple TV Plus. Natalie Portman, Moses Gunn. And the first trailer for it came out, and it is a bizarre little trailer, a bizarre little movie, or TV series, I should say, limited series. So could be interesting to see, and we'll see what happens. So that is set to come out here soon as well. An animated Everybody Hates Chris remake is in the works right now. They're bringing back Chris Rock, Terry Crews, and Tanisha Arnold. So they'll all be coming back for that. Matt Bomer and Nathan Lane are set to star in a Golden Girls-esque pilot for Hulu from Ryan Murphy and the creators of Will and Grace. James Burrow will be directing the pilot, and it also stars Linda Lavin, and it's basically about 3 gay guys who are trying to live their lives. So we'll see how that works out. Japan icon Kitaro Takashi is directing a unknown film for Amazon MGM, so we'll be seeing that really soon. He is an icon, so people are looking forward to that. Thunderbolts has finished filming, so now they're doing the special effects, so that means it is on target to hit its May debut next year. House of Dragons came out this week as well. Olivia Cook, one of the stars of it, said that she filmed an animalistic and carnal sex scene that they ended up cutting, unfortunately, from the series. So sorry to hear that, but that's the case. March 13th, 2026, a Friday the 13th in 2026, Mike Flanagan's Exorcist reboot is set to debut. Got the date this week. Furiosa, after underperforming at the end of May, will be coming to Blu-ray in August, and the Black and Chrome edition is set to be debuted later in the fall. Now, if you all recall, Fury Road really, if I recall correctly, didn't do all that well either at the box office right away, but it took off once it became, I'm probably wrong about that, once it became a huge hit on DVD. Fury Road. No, it's not that. Oh, okay. It grossed $380.4 million at the worldwide box office. So, it didn't do as bad. But I thought it really picked up, I think, with the DVD release like that. So maybe Furiosa will get picked up with that. And again, I'm saying all the fans who made the $380 million didn't show up in the movie theater, so maybe they are waiting for it to be on streaming or Blu-ray before they watch. They want to go to the movie theater. So expect that to be a huge hit when it debuts in August on Blu-ray, and the black and chrome edition is probably going to be spectacular. The Ocean at the End of the World, or at the Lane, excuse me, The Ocean at the End of the Lane is a Neil Gaiman short novel that Henry Selick is now going to turn into a stop-motion animated film. Resident Alien is set to return for a 4th season, but it will not be on Sci-Fi Channel. It will be on USA Network instead, which is kind of weird, but okay. What else we got here? Will Smith, after his huge hit with Bad Boys, has been tapped to star in Resistor, a sci-fi film showing that he is showing some legs, stuff like that. Since I don't have a lot of time, I'm not going to do that. But the Tony Awards were last weekend, and the big news out of that was Daniel Radcliffe. Harry Potter won his first Tony ever for this play he's doing, Merrily We Go Along, and his co-star also won a Tony as well. I'm not going to get into that because I don't have time. I really don't want to get into it, but that happened, so it's pretty good. Charlie Woods, Tiger's son, won a U.S. Junior Amateur qualifier, so he is on his way to being a potentially as good a golfer as his dad. Tatiana Maslany is making her second appearance in the show this week. She's actually set to star in a Prime series where she has an affair with the Boogeyman. And that could be an interesting idea to have an affair with the Boogeyman. It's a really interesting idea to me. So I'll have to look forward to that. As I said, she just got cast, so it ain't coming out till next year at the earliest. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Glenn Powell, one of my new favorite actors, is set to hit in July in another film, the Twister sequel, Twisters. That might do pretty decent as well. I don't think it's going to do Inside Out numbers or big numbers, but I think it's going to do decent, maybe 40, 50 million, I would say. But he is set to be adapting The Running Man based on the Stephen King book, where they already did Arnold Schwarzenegger one, but they went off book on that one. Glenn Powell says that this version of The Running Man is going to be a lot closer to the Stephen King short story. The speed of sound on Mars is constantly changing. Actually, I think I talked about that one before, but that's still kind of an intriguing sort of thing about that. Andy Serkis says that Peter Jackson is still working on The Adventures of Tintin 2. Remember, Adventures of Tintin is a comic book / graphic novel that is huge in Europe, not so huge in the United States. And Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson teamed up to do a a motion capture animated film with Andy Serkis of The Adventures of Tintin. It did okay, but not decent. Let me see what numbers we got for Adventures of Tintin. I never saw it, which is one of the few Spielberg movies I've never seen. All right. See, this is the actual comic. Let's just move down here till they get to the movie version of it. Well, sorry, it's just there's so much Adventures of Tintin stuff because it's huge, as I said. There you go. A motion capture of Steven Spielberg. Gross $374 million was pretty good. Received numerous awards and nomination to win Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature. John Williams was nominated for Best Original Score. Sequel directed by Jackson has been announced and has stalled development hell, but still says he's still working on it though. So it still did decent. So I guess they're hoping that gets on sooner than later. So that's pretty good on that end. So we'll see that sooner than later. 1978, a construction crew was tearing down a building in Dawson City to build up something else. And they were tearing up this swimming pool when they discovered 533 reels of silent films and newsreels that have never before been seen before from 1908 to 1929 underneath the swimming pool. Some of it had some historical the newsreels were very historical, and some of the silent films had some of the biggest silent film stars of the day in movies nobody had ever seen before. People still trying to figure out how that happened. There was some sort of there was a movie company didn't know what to do with these extra ones that they had lying around, and they needed to support the swimming pool, so they just built this thing and support something like that. I don't know, but they forgot about it, something like that. So we'll see. But that's kind of interesting that happens. It's always cool when something like that gets unearthed and it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. So Andrew McCarthy has done his Brat Pack documentary. It's been out for a couple weeks now on Hulu, and it's doing pretty well in the ratings, stuff like that. And one of the things that came out through the Bratz documentary was that Andrew McCarthy and Emilio Estevez were set to star in a film around that time called Young Men with Unlimited Potential, or Unlimited Capital, excuse me. And Emilio Estevez had said it was probably the greatest script he'd ever read, but due to the Brat Pack misnomer, the name of it that was just brought about just bad vibes for people, they end up not doing the movie, and the company decided not to do it because they didn't want it to be associated with the Brat Pack, because it wasn't a Brat Pack movie. It was like a adult film for grown-ups that had nothing to do with it, sort of the teen Brat Pack sort of films. But the fact that two of the stars of St. Elmo's Fire, who were part of the Brat Pack, were interested in it and were being cast in it, was what caused the production company to go, whoa, we don't want the Brat Pack name to be put on there and misnomered on it. And so they put it away. So that's one thing that Emilio Estevez said that he's salty about. The whole Brat Pack thing was he lost the chance to make this film, which would have been, he thought, brilliant, probably won some Oscars, but because of their affiliation with the Brat Pack, due to this article, it never got made. So that kind of sucks. It's late night, so we can talk about sex stuff, sort of. Florida Zoo fires a zookeeper after she was caught moaning in the lunchroom while a chimpanzee sucked on her toes. I wish that would have been later on, but I still got a page and a half to go. It would have been the last story of the week. But yeah, that's Florida for you. And whatever floats your boat there, baby, I guess. Weird. Death, Dale Yakowicha, a hockey player, passed away this week. Anniversaries, High Anxiety, Mel Brooks' High Anxiety, his parody of Hitchcock films, debuted 47 years ago this week. Superman 2, one of the best ones, debuted 43 years ago this week. Superman 3 debuted 41 years ago this week. X-Files Fight the Future debuted 26 years ago this week. The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds debuted 15 years ago this week. You got a page and a half here, and we're just getting into an hour here, which is good. So by the time I get this, I can go to bed, and we're on to Monday. The Uncharted sequel is in the works, as expected. Tom Holland is expected to return for that. Charlize Theron was almost cast as Mrs. Voorhees in the Crystal Lake series that's going to be on Peacock or Paramount, one of those two. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are reteaming to star in a crime thriller called R.I.P., directed by Joe Carnahan. Speaking of Matt Damon, his Grisham movie, The Rainmaker, is now being turned into a TV series. It's being readapted, so Damon's not involved. But John Grisham's The Rainmaker is being turned into a TV series now to USA, actually, the USA Network. Sophia Carson and Corey Milectis is set to star in My Oxford Year, based on the book for Netflix, I believe. A Real Pain trailer starring Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin debut. Didn't watch it, but it's supposed to be pretty good. Brad Pitt's Formula One film is set to debut on June 27th, 2025. Smile 2 trailer debuted this week, is set to debut in October. My Lady Jane, a new series on Prime, had its first trailer set debut this week, June 27th. The Fabulous Four set debut July 24th. The first trailer for it came out. Star Shirley Lee Ralph, Susan Sarandon, Melissa Mullaney, and Bette Midler. Gabriel Basso and James Harris are set to join Idris Elba and Rebecca Ferguson's on the Catherine Bigelow untitled Netflix film. Jason Patrick is set to be in Terrifier 3. Man turns coffins into grills. Okay. Megalopolis is set to debut in movie theaters on September 27th, where it will be competing with Interstellar 10-year reunion and the Good Robot. So I'm taking that day off, I think, anyway. So I might take in all those films. Jordan Peele's next film is set to debut October 2026. Drumstick Slurpee is a new ice cream drumstick flavor. Pierogi flavored Lay's potato chips are out now. Human Target series based on Tom King's limited series is set to come to series to the new James Gunn's new DCU. The AFC North, which the Baltimore Ravens are part of, are set to be the stars of Hard Knocks in season, which means they're going to cover all 4 teams in the AFC North: Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and Bengals. Excuse me. The Back to the Future musical, which just debuted in Broadway last year, I think, it was last year, is already getting its first traveling view. It will be at the Kennedy Center July 23rd through August 11th. My wife got me and my daughter tickets for that, to see that at the Kennedy Center, because we both wanted to see that. So that's kind of cool. Chris Columbus he of Harry Potter and Home Alone series is set, and we talked about this already, is set to adapt the Thursday Murder Club series of books. Already has Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley, and Helen Mirren in it. We have new cast members added to it as well. We have a pretty interesting cast going forward. David Tennant is supposed to be is been cast. Jonathan Pryce, Naomi Aiken, and Henry Lloyd Hayes are joining the cast of that. So got a good cast coming up for that. That could be an interesting adaptation coming up probably next year. Blue Moon, Ethan Hawke reteams with Richard Linklater for the 9th time. This time he is a script that he co-wrote with Richard Linklater. Is set to star Ethan Hawke himself, Margaret Qualley, Bobby Cannavale. And it's a drama about the passing of Lorenz Hart, who is part of the songwriting duo Rodgers and Hart. And after Lorenz Hart passed away, Rodgers was joined by a gentleman by the name of Hammerstein. So Rodgers and Hammerstein were formed after the death of Lorenz Hart. So we're going to find out what happened and what led to Rodgers and Hammerstein being formed. A story that not a lot of people know about, but is of interest to Ethan Hawke and Richard Linklater, and is going to they have enough clout that they're going to get that done. So that's pretty good about that. Ian McKellen fell off of the stage in the East End during a stage performance and injured an attendee, but both Ian and the attendee are doing well. So sad to hear that. Death, John Slamath was a PA on Twin Peaks Season 2, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, and The Return. Anniversaries, Jaws came out, as I said, 50 years ago, or 49 years ago, my birthday. Jaws 2 came out 46 years ago this week. Texas Chainsaw Massacre debuted 50 years ago this week, I believe. The Terminal debuted 20 years ago this week. That's Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. Red Heat debuted 36 years ago this week. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Belushi. And Dodgeball debuted 20 years ago this week. We're down to the last half page, and then it's done. Taylor Swift is continuing her European tour. She's been in England over the last few days. Prince and soon to be king, Philip, I guess. No, not Philip. Andrew. No, whoever the oldest son of Charles and Diana. He and his kids were at the Taylor Swift concert and were in the VIP lounge with Travis Kelce, and Jason and Kylie as well were there too. But the thing that's blowing everybody's mind is, remember, England's about 6 hours different from us. So she did her concert today and surprised everybody when she had Travis come out and carry her off stage during one of her sets. That usually has a regular dancer do it, but she got Travis to do it, and everybody's losing their freaking mind about that, as they should, because it's pretty cute and cool about that. McDonald's is set to create a new $5 value meal. Surprisingly, they said people haven't been buying stuff since we upped our prices, so we may as well drop prices down because we're losing customers. Gee, isn't that amazing how that works? And you blame inflation, which really isn't the issue. It's your stupid ass greed. McDonald's is joining Target and Walmart and Walgreens and a few other people who are saying we're lowering our prices to ease stuff for our customers. No, you're not. You're doing it because you realize that you fucked up and nobody is going to pay the big ass prices that you are expecting them to pay, so that your CEOs can make a shit ton of money and blame it on inflation, which is not the fucking case. So instead, you're like, oh shit, what are we going to do? Why don't you lower your fucking prices to where they should have been to begin with? Because inflation is a bunch of bullshit and it became a huge political issue. You just go fuck yourselves. Same thing with you fucking gas prices. Your gas prices have been fluctuating between $3.20 and $3.70, and everybody's saying, oh, gas prices are high. No, they're fucking not. They're normal. Before fucking COVID, that was how much it was. Plus, it was higher up during that fucking asshole Trump. It was in the $4. Back when he doing that stupid son of a bitch asshole. Sorry, he's pissing me off more than anything, and I had to let loose because nobody else in the house except for the cat. I'm okay. A League of Their Own is set to get a 4K DVD release in September. Ship of renown polar explorer Ernest Shackleton was found on the ocean floor. And millennials, Gen Xers, are now bigger toy consumers than preschoolers. That's pretty cool. Jay Yamo to direct a film of Three Body Problem. There's a TV show already that's very popular. They're going to do a movie version of it. The weirdest new trend on Facebook, stuff like that, is Tuah, which has some chick who was talking about spitting on a dude's cock and has now become a huge deal now. Tuah is all over the fucking place. So I figured I'd do it to try to get the numbers on this episode here. And I waited till the very end so you could hear me freak out about that a-hole. We'll have one more story to go. We got a ton of anniversaries and a couple deaths. Ron Simons, who brought Black Stories to Broadway, passed away this week. Jody DeVos, a color tutora soprano, died at the age of 35 this week. Anniversaries, got a lot of them. 30 years ago this week in the movie Before Sunrise, that was the day that Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy's character was on June 16th. 30 years ago, they had their day in Vienna. Not really it was based on the film. So if you watch the film, it takes place on June 16th. So that was kind of cool. Ghostbusters 2 came out 35 years ago this week. Green Lantern debuted 13 years ago this week. The Great Outdoors debuted 36 years ago this week. Back to School debuted 38 years ago this week. Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 3 debuted 4 years ago this week. It was the first full season of Fortnite that I played. And still one of my favorites. Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift debuted 18 years ago this week. The Frighteners debuted 25 years ago this week. Blue Thunder debuted 41 years ago this week. Terminator debuted 40 years ago this week. And finally, the last story of the week. Teenager from China beats an AI in a math competition. And it goes to show you that humans can still take down AI. Okay, I lost my shit. I'm okay now. And that's the end of the episode. Again, I have no idea what's going to happen next weekend because I got a busy-ass weekend. The wedding is going to be, again, like at 5:30, so we're probably going to be there for at least 5 hours. If I don't get back home till... We might have to leave earlier than that because my daughter does have to get up early to go back to camp on Sunday the 30th. Plus, we have our 4th of July party, so... I might do it in the late afternoon after the 4th of July party on Sunday, or if we leave the wedding early enough, I might be able to do it in the evening on Saturday. So we'll try to get one done here, but we'll see what happens. Cousin Liz's wedding, 4th of July party, and Oriole game. And also vacation. I'm going to try to watch some movies I haven't seen before. So I may have some movie reviews as well of those. I am okay. I'm not okay because I have to go to work the next 2 days. I was hoping I'd take off the whole fucking week. But thanks to my fucking kidney stones, I can't. So, because I don't have enough vacation time, I'm going to need to have some. I could have, but I'd have no vacation time left for the rest of the year. I'm going to need a break sometime in the fall when life is better to take a breather here and there. So on that note, I am done. I am home alone this week, going to the Oriole game, as I said, on Thursday, going up to family dinner on Friday up to camp. Wedding on Saturday. Gonna have to get a suit. Gonna watch some movies. Have 3 days off this week. Gotta work too. 4th of July party. Gonna see lots of family I haven't seen in a long time. So it's gonna be a busy week. But the thing is, I am home alone and I get to do and eat and say whatever I want to. So fuck yeah. Have a good rest of your night, and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.